Welcome everyone. Hope you had a great fall break. Got your batteries recharged and ready for homecoming week and second quarter. Speaking of homecoming week, I'm going to have several announcements this morning about that. We want it to be a lot of fun for you guys. It's a big game, and we want you to have a lot of fun. We want you to make good decisions. Do the do's and don't do the don'ts, and make good decisions and be safe. You're going to hear more about this in just a moment from our Spaghetti Supper moms, but your tickets are due tomorrow at noon. If you haven't sold all those tickets, you need to see your advisor or someone else who knows something about it, about what you should do to get them sold, okay? This week we got several events happening. Mr. Sawyer sent out an email to you, which you should take a look at. But just to cap some of it, we're going to have casual days each day if you, I think, pay $1. And today's Jersey Day, tomorrow's College Day, Wednesday's Beach Day, Thursday's Patriotic/Camo Day, and Friday's Big Red Day. We have trivia each morning in your advisory. And as far as the dance and the game goes, look at Mr. Sawyer's email in terms of the do's and don'ts, when you need to be someplace, as far as the dance goes, behavior at the games, and we'll talk some more about that as the week goes on. I'm going to call up Mary Pierce and Christy Bragg, our Spaghetti Supper moms, and they've got an update and announcement for you on Spaghetti Supper.
Good morning. We're going to be short and sweet this morning. We are really excited about Spaghetti Supper and the homecoming game this Friday. Next slide, you'll see that as was already mentioned, tomorrow by noon is the last day to sell Spaghetti Supper tickets. So each of you are required to sell 10, so get on that quickly. The next slide is that the t-shirts are sold out. However, next slide, we still do have some of the date boxes. If you forgot to purchase that, we will have them at the bake sale. So just bring $5 and you can purchase those there on site. There are limited quantities, so come find us. And then, reminder, next slide, that the bake sale is Wednesday and Thursday. And then the final slide, you'll see that the punch cards, today is the last day to buy those. So make sure you buy those. They'll be delivered to your advisory by tomorrow. And then there will be some available at the bake sale if you don't get them online.
Okay, and we've got some prizes today. So I did a drawing for everybody who'd sold 10 or more tickets. So for a $25 gift card to Sam's Place is John Wallace. So come on up and get your prize. And then for sales of 20 or more tickets, we have two. Of $50 to Sam's Place is William Martin. And $50 to Green Hills Grill is Key Abel. And then for those selling 30 or more tickets, we have some Ray-Ban sunglasses from Optique, and that is to Copeland Seifert. So come on up and get your prizes.
One more thing that I'll mention is for the bake sale on Wednesday and Thursday, it is in the field house here in the Burkholder. All right. See y'all this week.
Well, Clay, I think Clay Lamb's going to come up and make an announcement about the car club. Clay, where are you?
Gentlemen, who here likes cars? Good. Who here likes going fast? I know I do. Who here likes going places that normal cars can't go? Oh yeah. And who likes turning wrenches and getting their hands a little dirty on the weekends? Okay. Let me tell you, the car club has all this and even more. We got some big events coming up. I'm going to let Evan and Carter tell you about that. As you can see, just watch a slideshow. We got a whole bunch of stuff planned for this year.
Gentlemen, so on October 1st, we and a bunch of guys, we went out to Woolies Off-Road Park down 30 minutes down past Columbia. And we got real dirty. We got a whole lot of cars going off-roading. We got Jordan Ianni taking his little Jeep places a Jeep has never gone before. So if you're interested in that, let us know. We got lots of off-roading events planned, and Evan will tell you more about more events we have planned.
Yeah, as you can see there, cars upside down, you know, totally normal thing. So November 5th, we're gonna go to a Cars and Coffee. So you can go look at a bunch of cool cars first, and then afterwards we're gonna go off-roading. Probably at the same place again, which is called Woolies Off-Road Park. So if you wanna join that, or if you're not in the club but you wanna come, just email one of us and we'll get you the details when it happens. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sawyer's going to come up and make an announcement about the Out West trip.
Thank you, Mr. Tips. Good morning, gentlemen. American author Horace Greeley famously said, "Go west, young man." This summer's 2023 Out West trip will be from June 22nd to 29th and will visit Yosemite, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon National Parks in California. The trip is open to rising 9th through 12th graders and will be limited to 20 students. Yosemite is our country's oldest national park. Highlights include Glacier Point, Yosemite Valley, Yosemite Falls, El Capitan, and Half Dome. Nearby Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks are highlighted by massive sequoia trees in Grant Grove, including General Sherman, the largest tree in the world. It also includes Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the continental U.S. Other highlights of the trip include hiking, camping under the stars, excursions including biking, rafting, fishing, and if we are lucky enough to draw a spot in the lottery, the chance to summit the north face of Half Dome, possibly America's most iconic hike. Please be on the lookout for an email from me today. You can sign up on the interest list and receive details about our informational meeting. I'll close with a quotation from Robert Penn Warren's All the King's Men, which our seniors read this summer. "For west is where we all plan to go someday. It's where you go when the land gives out and the old field pines encroach. It's where you go when you get the letter saying, 'Flee, all is discovered.' It's where you go when you look down at the blade in your hand and the blood on it. It's where you go when you are told that you are a bubble on the tide of empire. It's where you go when you hear that there's gold in them there hills. It's where you go to grow up with the country. It's where you go to spend your old age, or it is just where you go. I hope you will go with us." Thank you.
I think next up we have an announcement, Service Club announcement by Hayden Kirkland and Davis Crawford.
Hello, so Hayden and I are the service representatives for Just Glass, and so we're going to talk to you a little bit about what Justice Industries are as a whole. So Justice Industries is a nonprofit organization that creates a business, essentially, that employs those who find it difficult to get jobs. Some examples are like a criminal history, addiction recovery, mental illness, etc. Two of their big things are Just Glass, which most of y'all have heard about, are the recycling company, and then for homecoming week we have Just Wash, and Hayden will tell you more about that.
Hey guys, so we all know it's homecoming week, and the number one thing ladies like is a clean car. So this week, Monday through Thursday, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., Just Wash will have their cars and their equipment set up in Vine Street. You can sign up on the Service Club website. There's also going to be an announcement on the newsletter, so your parents can sign up as well. Be sure to ask them and show your support. It's a great cause. Thank you.
Next up, Ms. Scholler is going to come talk about the Nba International Symposium, as well as introduce our new exchange students from South Africa.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back from fall break. I hope you all had a very enriching and relaxing fall break. I am, of course, delighted to welcome 3 young men from South Africa, from Bishop's College, Louis Dupree, who will be hosted by Connor Carr. From Michael House, we have Matthew Nell and Luke Payne, if you'll stand, please, and they're hosted by Gus Kirkland and Hayden Kirkland. Will you please help me welcome them and make their experience enriching? Speaking of South Africa, in my hometown of Johannesburg, South Africa, this year will be the venue for the International Symposium that NBA always hosts. The topic for this year's delegation is the economy and work. So how do you marry a just economy with just jobs? And anybody who is interested in economics, world politics, or meeting students from around the world, MBA selects a delegate, one from the junior class, one from the senior class, to present at this conference in Johannesburg in April 2023. If you are interested in being a delegate from South Africa for this amazing conference, please email either Mr. Joya or myself. Johannesburg is also the site of where once a very famous rugby match took place. It's a film where Matt Damon played the head of the Springboks rugby team, and it was a moment of healing for our country when Nelson Mandela, who was freed from being wrongly imprisoned after apartheid, he met Francois Pienaar, the captain of the South African rugby team. And would you know, after years and years of losing to the New Zealanders, the South African Springboks won that match, and our country landed on a trajectory of healing and a vote for everybody. So please consider being one of the delegates for South Africa, and a welcome to our boys from South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Scholler. All right, last up is Dr. Bailey. He's going to talk to us about the history of TOTOMOI.
Good morning, everybody. This is not a typical topic for a discussion at Assembly, so I suppose I'm going a little bit off-road or off the beaten path in reference to our earlier speakers. And just to make sure I get this right, I'm going to read parts of it. I haven't done this for a long time in front of Assembly. In fact, I've never done this in this space. So, we're going to look at the etymology of Totemoi. Names invariably have a story behind them, and exploring them can often provide fascinating windows into the past. I want to briefly consider the name Totemoi. For much of this information, I am indebted to 1965 MBA graduate and lifelong learner John P. Williams, who shared his recent discoveries with me recently and his reflections on those discoveries. So, in 1950, MBA graduates Bob McNeely and Inman Fox established the Honor Society TOTOMOI in 1954 in consultation with then headmaster Sager. This is the same honor organization that continues today and that will hold its annual tapping in this very room in 2 weeks. They chose the name TOTOMOI presumably because of the gatepost bearing that name near Harding Road, which you see in the picture. That gatepost has been moved a couple of times, but the at least now somewhat faded TOTOMOI name remains there on the gatepost. Why is that name on the gatepost? How many of you have wondered that? Perhaps many of you. Well, I'll tell you, we should look at the context of late 19th century and early 20th century Nashville to get an understanding of that. A businessman named Garland Tinsley moved to the growing city of Nashville from Richmond, Virginia in 1897 to expand his family's fertilizer business westward. Tinsley's Tennessee Chemical Company was an immediate success, and he began looking for land on which to build a country estate. Nashville then had a streetcar line that extended from downtown out West End to the city limits, which were then Wilson Boulevard, so just almost to where we sit right now. So in 1905, Tinsley acquired the land that is currently NBA and built a rather grand country home there where the ball building now stands. He named it TOTOMOI after his ancestral home in Hanover County, Virginia, which was and is about 12 miles from Richmond. That house, built in 1800, was named after the nearby TOTOMOI Creek. The creek, in turn, was named for a legendary Pamunkey warrior chief named TOTOMOI, who had been killed in battle near there in 1656. So, how did NBA, founded in 1867, end up here on Mr. Tinsley's former property? Well, I'll tell you. In 1914, amidst the progressive country day schools movement, and 1 year after the construction of Belmead Boulevard and the extension of the West End streetcar line out to the end of Belmead Boulevard, NBA's board decided to move its campus out of the city and into the country. Tinsley had recently sold his company and moved to Baltimore. NBA ended up buying the TOTOMOI property, the house and 32 acres for $74,000. Imagine that in relation to today, where I imagine 32 acres sitting right here would be much more than $7.4 million, but we got it for a bargain at $74,000. The house was remodeled into the first school building on the new country campus on the extended streetcar line. Then, 10 years later, calamity struck. The remodeled house was completely destroyed by fire. After an aggressive fundraising campaign, the TOTOMOI building was rebuilt in 1927 and renamed the Ball Building after longtime headmaster Isaac Ball. Essentially the Ball Building that we have today, although it's been remodeled several times, including that stairwell that's on the, what would it be, the northeast corner, perhaps? But we don't know exactly why Mr. Fox, Mr. McNeely, and Headmaster Sager chose the TOTOMOI name for the organization, except that they saw that name and thought perhaps it had some kind of mystical aspect to it. But as a result of their decision, the name lives on centuries after the death of the heroic chief of the Pamunkey tribe outside of what would become Richmond, Virginia. We too are near a creek that helped sustain native peoples long before Mr. Tinsley came here, or even long before John Donaldson, or even Timothy de Montbrun, the French trapper trader, who was here as early as the 1730s. So when the tapping begins in 2 weeks here in this room, consider the name TOTOMOI and the 17th century chief TOTOMOI, and how the Ball Building, along with a number of other buildings, and even the TOTOMOI name itself, eventually rose from the ashes of that 1924 fire like a phoenix. That, my friends, is the ongoing story of the name TOTOMOI. So I hope you've enjoyed Story Hour here on the Hill, which began millennia ago, presumably, with Native Americans gathering here. So that's all I got. and Happy Spirit Week.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. Okay, we'll close up. Last week was an abbreviated week, so we didn't have that much in terms of sports. Junior school soccer, A team beat USN 4-0. Junior school B team soccer beat USN 2-0. JV football defeated Innsworth. Varsity bowling defeated Father Ryan. Guys, remember to tell your parents and everyone out there that the kickoff for this game Friday night is at 7:30, not 7. 7:30 kickoff. Have a great week. You're dismissed.